Balatro is a new game that was released earlier this year, and I was surprised that I hadn't heard about it until just the other day. Balatro is pretty simple at first glance. It's a deck building roguelike where you must play poker hands and earn chips to defeat enemy blinds. Deck building roguelike, so you must be thinking, pretty similar to Slay the Spire. Except this card game is focused entirely around poker hands and enhancing these hands. Rather than picking up relics as you go from stage to stage, you're grabbing things like jokers, tarot cards, planets, vouchers, spectrals. You can even find enhanced cards, or even cards with seals on them. Some cards even have special editions, all of which have unique effects. There's also things like booster packs and tags that you can pick up along the way, which will help you as well. For example, this joker gives me a bonus for every spade card that I play, and this planet increases the amount of points I'll gain from playing a flush, so they have pretty good synergy. These abilities are pretty good on their own, but when you combine enough of these unique effects together, the result can be just enough to win you a round in one hand.
We want lucky, glass at the end, and just send it. This will be the best hand I've ever played. And our next hand won't even come close because we're not going to have a hand size of 24.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes!
Guys?
Come on!
Guys?
Yes!
Guys? What's going on? What's going 4.50 E to the 17? What does that mean? Brother, what kind of number is that?
Damn, boy, he's thick!
Speaking of rounds, your goal is to reach the chip requirement of every round. The chip requirement I'll just refer to as the score for the rest of the video. A better hand is equal to a higher score. Let's just run through a few hands of gameplay so I can show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so you're going to start off the game and you're only going to have the red deck, which gives you an extra discard. And the way it works is you're going to be taken to this screen, you're going to have the different blinds, which are rounds, and at the very end, there's the ante. And there's 8 antes, and if we look at the run info, we can see all of the different things that are going to score us points, which these are all poker hands, and they all have a base value and a multiplier. So if you get a straight flush, you're going to get 100 points off the bat, times 8, so that's 800, but every card has points assigned to it, so like a 10 is worth 10. In this example, we have 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, so you would add 10, 20, 30, 39, 47, and this would give you 147 times 8. You also have the ability to skip blinds or rounds, and this gives you different tags. So this tag is the investment tag, which is after defeating the boss blind, gain $15. The money comes into play when we go to the shop, which I'll show you later. So for right now, I'm just going to skip that because I want those $15, and I'm going to go and play this blind. We have 4 discards and 4 hands. We only get to play up to 4 hands, and let's say we are able to get a win in one hand, we would actually get all the extra hands remaining as currency. So for right now, I have it sorted by rank. You can also drag cards and move them around, which is very nice. And you can also sort by suit if you're looking for things like flushes, which right now, this seems like a good flush if we can get the rest, which we did. We're actually pretty close to a straight flush, so I'm just gonna discard, see what we can pull. Okay, well, didn't really pull anything that great. I want to save my last discard for the next hand. So we have 3 6s, 2 9s. It's a full house. That should win us this blind, which we did. We scored 450, so we get 4 money. We get 2 from the remaining hands, so we're going to cash out. That puts us at 10. Okay, so this right here is the Joker. Now, I have not purchased this Joker before, so I have not discovered it. And it's good to discover things because then as you discover things, the game unlocks other things for you to discover. Right now, I'm actually going to buy this. The effect is that I get a times 3 multiplier to my score if the played poker hand has already been played this round. And then I'm going to open this buffoon pack for more jokers. And this seems pretty nice. +2 multiplier for every $5 you have. Right now, I'm broke, but that's going to pay off after this. This is the ante. And the ante is going to have a very special effect, and this effect is that all heart cards are debuffed, meaning they're just not going to score any points. As you can see, they're not going to score any points. So what we're going to do is we're just going to discard this and look for the flush, and we're going to try and get 2 flushes so that we can get to a multiplier. Of course, I'm not pulling any spades. There we go. And now we already have 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds. So that sets up a pretty good diamond flush. So let's redo that. No diamonds, we have a pair. And then we can also play up to 5 cards. So even though these won't be scored, I can play them to try to cycle them out and get the cards that I need. Again, no diamonds, but we have the ×3 multiplier because we already played that hand. And of course, I get no luck whatsoever, and I do not get any diamonds. So I'm just going to play whatever. Yeah. Let's try that again. So right now, let's just speed through this. Okay, let's go diamonds. This should be enough to win me. Okay, so right there, we were able to actually get a good example of a joker inflating our score. Okay, so now when we skip this one, we get a spectral pack. Destroy 1 random, add 4 random enhanced number cards. So that's kind of cool. So we have those enhanced cards, and then we're just going to use these. These planet cards are going to upgrade our hands that we can use. So you guys kind of have an idea of how this game plays. You can also view your deck. You can see how many spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, aces, face cards, and numbered cards you have. It helps you out a ton, just being able to see all the information of what you have going on. Vouchers have special effects. You get 1 new voucher for each ante. And then, of course, at the end of every run, when you fail, the Joker from the tutorial comes to make fun of you. The game is extremely simple to pick up, but just like other roguelikes, it's a fun journey to master. Something that is incredible with this game is the story behind the man who developed it. The creator, Local Thunk, developed Balatro over a 2.5-year period. This wasn't his first try with games, as he had been at it developing games for over a decade. And while he had seen a ton of roguelike deck builders on Steam before, none of them really piqued his interest. This is except for a game called Luck Be a Landlord, which is a slot machine roguelike. Man, I feel pretty bad for any gambling addicts watching this video. They're probably scratching their arms and on their way to their local gas station to put a few bets up. Anyways, Local Thunk revealed in an AMA he did on Reddit that he had watched a ton of YouTube videos about Luck Be a Landlord, and he fell in love with the idea of a non-fantasy themed score-attached roguelike. However, his true inspiration for Balatro came with the Cantonese card game Big 2, which is a game that has players playing a number of cards to create poker-esque hands. After being inspired, he would then go on to shelter himself away from other roguelike card games, and by doing so, this would allow him to create Balatro without any sort of outside influence. He thought it would create for a more fun and genuine process in developing the game if he made his own mistakes along the way and explored the design process naively. And even though I'd mentioned Slay the Spire before, it turns out that Local Thunk had never actually played or even seen footage of the game until after he had designed Balatro. A link to the full Reddit thread is down below if you want to check out the AMA. Fast forward from his inspiration to a few years later, and the game was incredibly well received on launch, seeing praise across the board from reviewers. And sure, no one really takes these game recommendations seriously anymore, but even just looking at the Steam review page, we can see that it is overwhelmingly positive with nearly 20,000 community reviews. The game has sold more than 500,000 copies, solidifying itself as one of the indie greats. The remarkable success of Balatro and its developer, Local Thunk, brings to light a compelling question for the gaming industry at large. Will this year mark a turning point for major gaming studios, showing them that creating a hit game doesn't always necessitate massive marketing campaigns, oversized development teams, and colossal budgets? Though my skepticism remains, and I have little faith in these AAA studios, the triumph of indie games like Helldivers 2, Lethal Company, and Palworld offer a beacon of hope. Helldivers 2 also released earlier this year and has already sold over 8 million copies. It quickly shot up in popularity, in no small part due to content creators and streamers showing this game to their audience. And then there's Lethal Company, which also hit the shelves in 2023, quickly captivated an audience, and sold over 500,000 copies soon after launch, only to find insane levels of success and hit 10 million copies sold. And how can we talk about indie games without mentioning Palworld, a game that launched in January of this year and has already surpassed the 25 million sales mark?
Do you see that? You see how it looks like a Pokemon? That's Palworld.
These examples underscore a huge lesson for AAA studios. The essence of a game's appeal lies not in lavish budgets or cutting-edge graphics, but in innovation, passion, and most importantly, engaging gameplay that captures the hearts of players. In a landscape often dominated by blockbuster titles and their over-the-top marketing, the success stories of these recent indie games serve as a powerful reminder that in the world of video games, creativity and a genuine connection to the gaming community can lead to remarkable achievements. We don't really care about the best graphics or super realistic movements of models. We want games that are fundamentally fun to play. At the end of the day, all we want to do is get home from work and take a break from the difficulties of life and enjoy a game. Balatro hits home for me. I said in the beginning of the video that I was surprised I hadn't heard about the game until just the other day, and that's because I've been a pretty avid card game player for a long time. I used to come home from school and sit at the kitchen table. There was always a pack of cards ready. I'd bust open this pack of cards and just start shuffling, smacking the cards against the table a few times too to get the attention of my grandfather. He would hear the sound and he knew it was time. For a good 3 or 4 years, we would play card games together for hours and hours when I got home from school. And this happened nearly every day. We would play so much that the regular bicycle cards just couldn't hold up, and so I started buying packs of the more expensive 311 cards. My grandfather scolded me for spending more than $1 on a pack of cards, but I didn't really care. I loved that I had a hobby I could share with him, and for a very long time, playing cards was just one of those things for us. Of course, these good times eventually came to an end. My grandfather succumbed to dementia, and even though he slowly began forgetting everything around him, one of the last things he remembered was playing cards. I recorded our last game of 500 Rummy, and after that game I pretty much stopped with cards altogether. Balatro reminded me of those simpler times in my life. It reminded me of my grandfather and being a kid again. And for that, I'm deeply grateful to you, Mr. Local Thunk.